for a chance to spend some time with this guy. His name's Jim Bohannon, host of America in the Morning, the Jim Bohannon Show. Just, he
was.
Oh, that's
well, okay, has been already.
Well, if he's not that big, then what are we bothering for? Jim, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Not long ago, I tried to come by and visit you folks, and I had to cancel because of a rental car company, which shall remain Avis. We couldn't get me a car fast enough to get over to see you guys, but we frequently visit my daughter in Janesville.
Oh.
And I guarantee you that we are going to drop by and visit you because I want to tell everybody that I will remain on America in the Morning with my offbeat feature and the newsmaker interview. So I'll still be a part of the show, and I'd love to come in and see you guys in person.
You have an open door policy at this place anytime you would care to show up. And if we're not here, we'll get up and come in if you're here.
Okay.
And since what, 1984?
84, September 17th, 1984, the show began. In January of 85, it expanded to an hour, and it's been going ever since. And, they never found anybody that they liked better. I don't know why. There are hundreds of them out there.
I don't think there is anybody better. I recall my first encounter with hearing you was I started at this station in 1983, and we used to run Larry King's show.
Oh, yeah.
And when you would be in for Larry King, and I was the designated board op for many of those nights. And I got to tell you, you got me through a lot of nights, and I just remember thinking, man, I hope to be half as good as this guy is someday.
Oh, I'm sure you've long since passed that.
Well, I've long since given up on feeling that.
Board op is spelled B-O-A-R-D, not B-O-R-E-D. or then again, maybe it is. I don't know.
No, enjoyed it immensely.
So you guys don't want to hear this. I know I was 3 in 83. I was 4 in 84.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, Jim, as you and I were saying.
But my point being, can you paint a little picture, Jim, about what the radio industry, what the scene was like when America in the Morning debuted? Was there anything else like it? How tough was it to try to get stations around the country to start picking it up? What was that like?
How many people had to lift Larry King's ashtray?
Yeah. Well, what happened was Larry's original show went from 11 p.m. till 4:30 a.m. Central Time. And Larry was always up all day, and he never understood why he got sleepy on the air at night. But he was constantly trying to cut back the show, and that 5.5-hour show eventually got cut down to 3 before he left full-time to go to CNN. So he wanted to get rid of that last half hour. And the network said, well, we don't want to give up the commercials that we carry, so what do we put in there? And my boss at the time, Ron Nesson, said, well, let's just do a long-form news show. And Bohannon, he's done long-form news. And so they plugged me into that, and it was the last half hour of the Larry King Show. The idea was that in many places, morning drive time, the prime time of radio, really starts earlier than 6 a.m., and which is true in a lot of parts of the country. Look how early some of the TV news shows.
Oh, yeah.
So they thought they'd give it a try, and it's been very popular.
Well, I remember
how long have we had it? I mean, at least the past decade.
Yeah, we've
15 years.
Yeah, I think almost since the get-go, we've been aboard with America in the Morning. So, and you're right. For a long time, the morning show here didn't. 6 o'clock was the start, and then all of a sudden we started to get that vibe that people are getting up a little bit earlier. You morning guys should get up just a little bit earlier with them.
Yes, thanks a lot. But we were on 350 stations, so that's pretty good. I mean, Rush has got 650, but hey.
It's all right. Jim Bohannon was with us. America in the Morning, his last official day hosting was this morning, but he'll contribute still the interviews and the offbeat sections to the show, plus his nighttime talk show as well continues as well. It's Riley and Scott here on WROK. Now, you were in Chicago for a bit doing, WCFL mornings?
I was at the old WCFL, that's right, back when we had no audience at all. It was just terrible, guys. I mean, it was just awful. Oh, but hey, it was fun helping to drive a great radio station into the ground.
We look at our jobs the very same way every single morning. In all the years of doing this, and you've talked to some of the biggest of the big, the greatest of the great, everybody what's your favorite? Who was the most... What belly up on you that you were surprised by?
Well, let's see here. I remember the night that William F. Buckley, the conservative commentator, came in. I had Bill on, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. But one night he came in, and Bill had just a little bit of libation with dinner. And that extra drink made him a super guest. He was very loquacious and had even more multi-syllable words to spew out. He was just the right amount of loose. You know, he wasn't drunk, but he was just loose. And if I knew how much he'd had to drink, I would give that much to every guest. Well, yeah, you know Kinky Friedman, funny man, had Kinky on several times, and one night he came in. I've had people on before who had something to drink. Kinky came in with an airline bottle, a little bottle of Jameson, and proceeded to drink on the air. And I said to myself, how's he doing? In just talking beforehand, I said, he seems fine to me. I said, let's go with it. And he was perfect. He was perfect. I still have that bottle, by the way. August 1998.
Outstanding. Jim, this is an election year. Actually, next year is the election year, but the election campaign is underway, as you might have known.
I read something in the paper the other day about it.
Every time an election year comes around, people react like it's the first time things have ever happened, right? First time that we've had contentious debates, first time that it's been sniping between candidates, and we've never had it this nasty and down and dirty, and really it's all the same each time, isn't it?
Well, really, pretty much. I mean, people tend to forget that our founding fathers were hardly pristine pure. I mean, guess who betrayed the American Revolution? Well, that would be George Washington, according to Ben Franklin's grandson. Guess who was an ignorant baboon? Well, that would be Abraham Lincoln. And you can go on and on, right down the list of people. Yeah, and in fact, at least these days, we don't beat people senseless on the floor of the Congress, as happened back in the 1850s. We really are, you'd find this hard to believe, I'm sure, but we are rather more civilized than our predecessors were.
Yeah, we're not out there questioning ancestry or deciding that, that's enough of that. Let's grab pistols. I'll meet you at dawn.
Yeah, exactly. And let's not forget that Aaron Burr, the Vice President of the United States, killed the former Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton in a duel. Andrew Jackson was involved in several duels. And as for slogans, how's this one? Grover Cleveland, when he ran for the presidency back in I guess it was 1884, first time, and he had acknowledged fathering a child out of wedlock in his native Buffalo, New York, and he contributed money to help the child be raised, even though he wasn't positive he was the father. So the Republicans' chant that year was, "Ma, Ma, where's my paw?" And after Cleveland won, the Democrats retorted, "Gone to the White House." Ha, ha.
Yeah, I bet Hamilton wished he had a super PAC to help him out as opposed to, a pistol.
Oh, really? A super PAC would have, I'm sure, done a lot of good. He got a lawyer, got an injunction, or something,
or at least a Kevlar vest,
exactly.
something
Kevlar
along those lines.
Very handy, yeah.
Jim Bohannon with us. It's Riley and Scott on WROK. If you missed the news, his final morning as the official host of America in the Morning was this morning. He'll continue to contribute the offbeat and his nighttime interviews to the program, plus host his nighttime talk show as well. Anything you really will miss about, I don't know, do you just stay up overnight after you do that?
Yeah.
I was just going to ask that. What are your hours?
It's an all-night shift. It's a 9 to 5 job, only it's PM to AM. I'm up at the same time people in Tokyo are. I'm in the 8 p.m. Central Time hour, got the talk show from 9 to midnight, and then I got to prepare America in the Morning until just a few minutes ago, and write the offbeat feature, which I'll still be writing. Mm-hmm. And that show aired from 4 till 5 Central Time, with repeats at 5 and at 7 Central Time. So my day was over with at 8 a.m. Central, and so it was an all-night shift, and now it'll end at midnight, so I'll actually sleep at night now.
Wow, that'll be weird. That'll be, your alarm clock's going to feel abandoned.
Well, it will be abandoned. Maybe broken.
Jim Bohannon with us here. How many of the current presidential candidates have you talked to thus far during the cycle? And anyone strike you as being the most, I guess, the most you want to have a beer with? Because, some of these guys you see from afar, you talk to from afar. I don't know how many guys you've had in studio or near you thus far.
Well, one of the nicest, funniest guys you'll run across is Mike Huckabee. I've had Mike on several times. going back many, many years. He's a very, very witty man, former funniest celebrity in Washington. He actually won that contest, which I also won one year. Huckabee's been on. We had Rubio, very impressive man, Marco Rubio. Had on Ben Carson, Scott Walker before he dropped out, and several others. We're trying for all of them, but it's sometimes difficult to line these people up. But, yeah, I would have to say that probably Huckabee, for just having a beer with somebody, Huckabee would be your guy.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. See if we can't hit him up if he comes through here. Hey, Bohannon says you're the guy to have a beer with, so let's get started.
As long as turns out you'll be a Baptist preacher or something, and
Now, before we let you go, I want to make sure, Jim, we're going to play this back actually later this evening and mention, as you told us earlier on our morning talk show, as long as that's okay.
Oh, by all means, please do. Just send the residual check to Jim Bohannon. Sure.
Let's see, 50-0 is... Yeah, we can do that. Jim, thanks for so many years of, we've started our day with you forever and have enjoyed every single broadcast. Like I said years ago, hope to grow up to be half as good as you. Haven't quite made it, but it's been a delight to listen to you every single morning.
Hey, Scott, Riley, you guys are super, and I have had a chance to hear you in Janesville from your Rockford post there, and I must say you guys knock out a heck of a morning show. So I promise you, in studio, I will make it happen.
That would be great. Jim, have a great weekend and a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you guys.